Hello and welcome. You're in orbit with Launch Team 6352. Today we're here at the FIRST World Championships in Houston, Texas. And we'll be interviewing several teams from across the world to get their people, stories, and experiences behind FIRST. Listen in as we interview several guests. Okay, and now I'm here with
Team 4146, the Saber Cats. I'm Celeste.
I'm Rachel. I'm Miles.
And of course, we were both Arizona teams, right? We went to the same regional. We teamed up for alliance selection, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
So, since we're both Arizona teams, what's the experience like coming to Worlds, at least from an Arizona side?
So Arizona's kind of been seen as like a smaller state where we've got the best spots. Especially at our own regionals, California teams kind of dominate, and so going to Worlds from an Arizona event, a lot of them see us as a little lower, but I don't think that's the case in the slightest. We have teams like AFITS who really shown the sign and won champions last year. And then we had the Coconuts win Impact last year. So I think we're definitely making our mark now.
Yeah, and it's really great since Arizona is like a smaller region. I think the community is really nice, so it's nice when we get to come here and like talk to us.
Especially when we need like pirates and stuff. A lot of times it's kind of scary to talk to a new team, so being have like close friends still at the competition really helps.
All right, so we here at Launch, we came here because of the Impact Award, right? So talk a little bit about your guys' experience with the Impact Award and any outreach that you've done.
So we won at the Chairman's Award twice, and then we won the Impact Award last year and the Telly year, so it's our first time ever going back to back. But a lot of ours has been not really creating more initiatives, but really strengthening our initiatives, making sure that what we do truly impacts the students in a lasting way, so that we're not just creating an event that they go to and then not think about ever again. It's something they want to keep going back to. You keep them interested.
I think it's true. Like, sustainability is definitely like a main aspect of the Impact Award, and I feel like in itself it sounds like a simple term, but like the way that you have to show it kind of makes more teams unique than the others.
Yeah, and the Impact Award focuses more on like the actual impact, and growth shows it, but sustainability really, really shows how impact is.
Yeah, I think a lot of our outreach initiatives are, like many other teams, like centered around STEM education, and it's really great to like be role models for younger kids for STEM, because like at least when I was growing up, I didn't really have many role models, but it's nice to be a role model now for kids who are interested.
I relate with that a lot. Like, I know a lot of people who started FIRST as a very young kid. For me, I wasn't one of those people. Like, I started in 8th grade, and that was like with FCC. So like Launch team was like my first FRC team and like first introduction to it in high school, which is definitely like a big jump from FTC. And so like it's been difficult for me to try and adjust to that. But I think now that I'm helping others have the experience that I never got to, it kind of helps in that aspect as well.
And even coming from an FLL team, when I was in middle school, I had those role models, and it made me even want to become a role model even more now, so that I have the idea of, oh, this kid sees me and what I saw my mentors a few years ago. Keeping that chain going, because that really helped me through like a lot of hard times, especially middle school and high school is really tough.
So talk a little bit more about that. Like, of course we're coming here to compete with robotics and like, compete for all these awards and everything, but like what's the deeper meaning behind it? Like, what are the connections that we build, and what does it mean to you guys?
For me, it's a lot of making friends and making connections that are like going to be with you forever. Especially at like the FIRST Championships, you have all these schools, you have all these programs that you can work with and possibly get jobs with and scholarships that will help you keep them going. And it doesn't matter at the regionals. You have people that you can make friends with and have connections with. I know I've hanged out with a few people outside of robotics just because we became actual friends. And I know I've found my college roommate through FIRST Championships because we just barely met each other.
I think FIRST has a really good community, and you get to meet people with the similar values as you, similar interests, and like stuff like that.
That's true. I feel like also the way that FIRST is organized, it's very focused on like both hard skills and soft skills.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, at least like in schools, I feel like that's not as emphasized.
Yeah, I know. I was definitely very socially awkward coming into high school. I was the weirdest kid ever. And like, it's not like I'm really normal now. First, just definitely taught me to like network better, just be better at talking to people. And now I look at little catty Kathy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with not being normal. I feel like if you are normal, that's kind of weird in itself.
I don't think anyone's normal.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes people, you know, unique in itself, right?
Yeah, and I think that like really makes the connections even stronger is because
Yeah.
normally you wouldn't talk to these people, but now you're going to talk to them every single day.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the innovation fair that's here, right? At least for me, like I've been taking advantage of every single opportunity that I can to talk to everyone because, you know, I'm grateful that we're even here in the first place. Like we don't know when we'll be back, right? I'm a junior. Are you a senior this year?
I'm a senior.
I'm a senior as well. I'm a sophomore.
Okay, so like we don't have much time left, you know, to be on a robotics team, right? So we don't know when we're going to get these opportunities. So talk a little bit about like, you know, how you've been making the most out of this experience.
I haven't really been to innovation fair that much. I went the first day just to get some free stuff. That's really nice. Like everyone has like free stuff kit, snins, pens, like stickers. So definitely take all of those things now.
Especially going last year, I tried to use a lot of the opportunities to find what colleges I would have possibly want to go to. Because like Oyster Poly Institute was here and I was able to talk to them. I would have never thought in a million years I would applied there, but I did. I not end up going there, but I got to learn more and get the help that I would have not had online. Other things are just a lot of there's scholarships that it's harder and harder now to find scholarships, especially just generally. So having the innovation fair and FIRST, it really helps you guide through the entire process and know if you actually will qualify even before you apply.
That's true. I feel like also like with the world becoming more and more competitive, like especially on a college app level, it's like this is like I don't know, it's like the meadow where it's like everything is calm and, you know, no one's as competition focused. Of course, like, you know, if we go on the competition there, everyone's cheering, but like it's not in like a negative aspect, at least the way I see it. And like I'm glad that, as I was saying before, like there's a focus on soft skills as much as hard skills. And like at least for here, like there's so many opportunities that you can to talk to people and like not even just like learn more, but also get opportunities for yourself. And like that's the point of, you know, why we started this podcast, right? It's like to ensure that people can talk, like, you know, not on a competitive level, just like put all of the, you know, things separating you aside and just come together for a little bit of fun moments. Because, you know, in the world that's ever changing, I feel like it's getting more and more negative, and we need to bring out the positivity sometimes. All right. Well, another thing. So we're here in Houston, right? I remember when we first came here 2 years ago, we visited a lot of different places around Houston, like Johnson Space Center, etc. How do you guys like do you guys have any like team bonding activities or like something that you do together?
Well, I think the most important thing when it comes to Texas, you have to go to Buc-ee's. Obviously, you have to we allotted time to go to Buc-ee's. We're going tomorrow, but we went last year as well, and we all got matching pants. That was a cute little keepsake for this trip.
Another thing is the barbecue is really good. Unless you're a vegetarian, then there's not a lot of options. But it's really good, and it's always big sizes. Texas, everything is bigger than Texas, so you end up having to share food. Otherwise, you're going to take it to your hotel and still do stuff.
Yeah, we have team dinners every night, so it's just a nice way to unwind after a long day at comm and just talk to each other, eat good food.
And also, especially where at the George Brown Convention Center, there's a lot of good food trucks, restaurants nearby that are in walking distance. So on like days that we just need to take a little break, you can have lunch by yourself, or if you want to hang out with your friends, there's a wonderful market that we keep going to and getting shawarmas together.
I don't know, I think another really important thing is we're sharing a room. We go from only spending like 2 hours a day at robotics, like after school, to like sleeping in the same bed, in bed with each other, and like sharing rooms and getting ready with each other in the morning super early. Yeah. Those are the connections that like going to a regular competition in your home state in your own area. That's something you don't get to experience.
Yes, making the memories at like 11:59.
When your friends are
talking.
snoring.
Yeah, I think like also I remember we talked to the Robo Dolphins, which is from I think it was like California. It was I think it was from either Pasadena or one of those places, right? And like since they had to travel to Arizona for their regional, they had to go through that whole travel process, right? And I think they drove as well, which I don't know, that seems more fun than flying, because it's like a road trip, you know, in itself. Obviously, like the time is, you know, so much more time spent, but like
we went to AZ North in Flagstaff, so we drove up for that and stayed in a hotel. But I think the bus ride was a little violent on the way up.
It was really early in the morning. I think I woke up at like 3 a.m. so we could get to the bus at 4.
Yeah, and I went to a concert the night before.
By the way, I was gonna say this earlier, but like with the Buc-ee's thing, right? Did you go to the one that was like the biggest gas station in the world? Or in the US or whatever it is?
We just went to a normal Buc-ee's because that was the closest.
It still had like 100 pumps. Like it's still like a huge gas station, but it wasn't the biggest.
Okay, because like we were just like driving back to the hotel, right? I came a little later on Wednesday, and I was like freaking exhausted, bro. But then when we drove by that Buc-ee's, I was like, wait, I've seen this before. This is the biggest US one. So we have to go outside and, you know.
It's like the same size as a Walmart, so you kind of get
Yeah.
lost. I think last year and how to end up calling someone just because I didn't know where it was anymore.
I have bad memories from that puppies. I gotta so I like getting slushies when I go to gas stations. And so I got my slushie and I immediately drop it on the floor everywhere. So then I clean it up and I throw it away and I get into one. But besides that, it was fun.
Seems like a lot of money wasted. No, I'm just
Yeah, Bucky's food is also really good. We went there for dinner, and it was I will never forget that dinner. It was great.
So we have a lot of activities. You guys can't see on the podcast, but we're standing on the balcony right now, and there's a bunch of activities going on the grass field next to us. Have you guys participated in that? I know yesterday I played volleyball with some of the kids there.
Yeah, we were playing Jenga the other night. It's pretty fun. I get really scared of Jenga though, cause like it's like the huge blocks, right? So it's like if it falls on you, you'll probably like die. Oh, also there's like an echo chamber. Have you seen it?
Not like an echo
No, it's
chamber,
like
but it's like these two structures that if you sit on either side of it, you can hear each other perfectly clear, even though you're like 100 feet away from each other.
Oh.
It's cool.
It's like one of those like, you know the things from like when you were younger, how they have those like cups that you hold and
Oh
that you
yeah,
just like
yeah.
that.
Or like at the playground, you like speak into the
Yeah.
playground.
Is that what it is, or is that something different?
No, it's like a huge like you like literally Sydney. It's like a giant circle.
Oh, okay. So it's like a sound system.
Yeah.
Some system. Okay.
Yeah.
I think they have that in colleges as well. I feel like I remember going to ASU or something, and they had that with the professors, so that you can hear them in the audience, right? Speaking of college, right? Where you guys? I know you two are seniors or a sophomore, so still thinking about it. But like, where are you guys going for college, and how do you think FIRST has helped you with that type of experience, in terms of applying and also the experiences leading up to it?
So I'm going to Colorado School of Mines, which is in Golden, Colorado, which is west of Denver. And FIRST really helped me like know how to write my college essays and make a good application, just because with like the FIRST Impact Award and with Foodie Flowers, you have to learn how to write about really difficult topics that you may not know the best answer to, and you just have to kind of wing it. So having that experience really helped me apply.
Yeah, so I'm going to the University of Washington in Seattle, and I'm studying engineering. And before high school, I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. But after joining FIRST, I really like got interested into STEM and also like engineering specifically. So it was great to like just get some experience before college and like find out what I really wanted to be. And that was a good thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I got into high school, I wanted to be like a web designer, and then our mentors put me on an assignment that was a mix of doing web designing along with data analysis for scouting. And I ended up really, really liking the data analysis, and so I've kept with it for the past 4 years, and that's what I'm going into mines for.
I relate with the business side of things, because like when I first joined, I was only into like programming and everything, but like then I realized that I don't want to spend my life in front of a computer, so I wanted to expand my interest a little bit. So that's when I got into Impact, and now I'm just I try to help with whatever seems to be like unique or like providing something new to the team, right? So I think that definitely showed me that type of business and like writing interest, and like now I enjoy writing like as a hobby in itself. And I think I feel like more people who are engineering focused should focus on other soft skills, because what's the point of being a genius if you can't communicate your ideas, right? And so I think like just us speaking here on this podcast itself is like important to. It's a testament to the fact that we need to actually speak about our experiences, not just like keep everything hidden within, right?
And there's like a lot of programs like Chief Delphi is really great for sharing each other's experiences at FIRST. I know there's a lot of like individual discords, and there's the unofficial
First,
unofficial
yeah.
FIRST one. And people share their experiences and talk about it. And there's just this other way to communicate is really helpful, because FIRST is really complicated. The whole world is really complicated. So having that type of guidance really early on is helpful.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this conversation, and
Thank you so much.
good luck at the competition. We are here with.
My name is Alex Schwartz. I'm from Team 5472, the Wild Stallions from Delray Beach, Florida.
And how did you get here to Worlds?
So we qualified through the regional qualification pool this season. We were actually one of like the last 20 teams, so we sort of found out like 2 weeks before Worlds. So we were very fortunate to make it this year to Worlds. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your team's outreach and the way you go through your Impact Award process.
Yeah. So I'm sort of our team's lead Impact student. I help with the essay questions, the executive summaries, as well as the presentation and the video. Some of our major outreach efforts that we've had are our school. We are a K through 12 school in Florida, and we're fortunate to have 3 FTC teams one FRC team and 3 FLL teams all on our school's campus. That sort of allows for like a really good mentorship structure where FRC students are helping our FTC and our FTC help FLL. So it's really just a whole FIRST program, and we've seen students come from lower school and middle school all the way up through FRC and be just really a huge part of Stallion Robotics, which is the umbrella program for our entire school. So that's a big outreach effort for us. Also at our school, we have a summer camp, which our team members serve as counselors. They write the curriculum, they're running these activities with the students, and it's a big fundraiser for our team, and it really helps fund our entire build season. Outside of our school, one of our biggest initiatives is we helped start a robotics camp in Finland. We actually had that through a connection with a student on our team who traveled there with his family, and he helped run a program there, and he got approval from like the local government there and the school system. So it was really great. We provided all the materials and the curriculum as well. And then one of our newest initiatives is STEMCom, which is, I'll sort of talk a little bit about an introduction to that. So it's a collaboration between speech and debate and robotics. So engineers aren't really like the best public speakers for the most part, right? I think we can agree on that. So why we have access to an amazing speech and debate program at our school, so why don't we decided to just combine them, and we have speech and debate students teaching our robotics students a communication class specifically designed for FIRST students. So it's a pretty unique program, and I just did a workshop on Wednesday here about it, which was an amazing opportunity for me. We had a ton of people come. They got to see a little bit about what our program was. They had activities. We gave out prizes. So it's a really big new outreach effort for us.
Oh, so did you do one of those conferences that were here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. You know, it's ironic you say that because like my school has a strong speech and debate team as well, and I'm on the speech and debate team.
Okay. Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't really have a strong FIRST program, and I feel like that's very unique because I've always thought about that. You know, having the duality of like being strong technically, but also being able to communicate your ideas.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really good idea. I might consider adding that to my school as well.
Absolutely.
If you guys want to expand into like different, are you from Florida?
Yeah.
If you want to expand to different states, I'm from Arizona, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Could,
I'll be in contact. Now I have your contact info. We had we had a QR code at the end of our presentation, and we actually had 3 people who responded that we want to start this at their school. So now I have their emails, and I'm going to reach out to them either today or tomorrow to help start this and grow it. So it's amazing. Yeah.
It's awesome, dude. Okay, so obviously you've done like a lot of impact and outreach. I think what you said speaks for itself. How did you get involved in FIRST initially, and was there anything about the process that you enjoyed?
Yeah, so I started out in FIRST Lego League in 4th grade. So I've really been a FIRST student for, about as long as you can be. I just sort of started out, joined a team and went to competitions, and as I grew and as I got older, it was just a part of it was just my after school activity, and that's like what I wanted to do. I had gone through like changes in schools, but no matter what, FIRST stayed a consistent part of my life, which I think was really powerful. Even being on different teams, but still going to the same competitions, participating in the same games, allowed me to make new friends and just grow my knowledge outside of the classroom. And then coming into FRC, it was really just a culmination of everything I learned in FLL and FTC, and just being a committed member, someone who's always going to show up, and not only learning the technical skills and learning about team management and outreach, but also just learning how to be a good team player and learning how to be a leader has really helped me, and I don't know where I would be without FIRST. So yeah,
that's true. I feel like FIRST is a unique program in that aspect because even if you go to these let's say like speech and debate competitions, right? Obviously they're very like soft skill oriented, but sometimes you need that technicality. Like for the category that I do, right? It's called informative speaking.
Okay.
So you need like a board and like presentation. It's like the same thing you do for impact, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, those skills have helped me a lot in that aspect, but sometimes you need the technical skills to help you there. So it's kind of like, it's not like you can survive with one thing or the other. It's, as you said, like it's very interconnected in that aspect.
Yeah, for sure. You said you do informative, so the student that I work with, who's sort of like the speech and debate leader of STEMCom of that program, he does extemporaneous.
Oh, okay.
So
that's
sort
the
of similar.
on-the-spot speaking. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to do that, but I'm not good at it yet. I've done impromptu, which is like the 7-minute one that's a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
But I feel like out of all the categories, I feel like impromptu and STEM are probably the most useful in terms of like, on the spot speaking, because that's what's probably the most challenging.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. How did you get the workshop organized, by the way? Because I know for our podcast we were trying to do something similar.
Yeah. So I signed up for like the FIRST like newsletter or whatever. They just send out like emails like once a month, and I saw in there oh, submit, there's a link here, submit a request for championship conferences. So I'd already done conferences at our regional events, Tallahassee and Orlando. And I submitted that, and I submitted it in like January, and then I heard back March 1st. So I heard back, and I was like super excited, and I'm like, all right, I gotta start planning this all. But it was good, and definitely if you're gonna do workshops, start out at the regional level,
Right.
and then grow it. But it's as once you get down and once you practice, it'll be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, like, if you already done it on a regional level, it's just like, you're expanding to a larger audience, but at that point, it's the same content, right?
Yeah, and we made some changes, of course, because we got feedback. We changed it. We made it more activity-based. We really showed our program better, and that was just really accomplished with the help of the speech and bass students. So not only are they teaching this class, but they're helping us present
Yeah, that's good.
the class. So it's a really good sort of cycle there. We have 4 volunteers. I mentioned the one who does extemporaneous, 2 do Congress, and 1 does another type of like performative speech. So we really have a variety of volunteers, and we're looking to expand. Good thing for them is that they get community service hours for doing this. So that's a little bit of an incentive for them.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you always need a, like, I know this is like a AP Bio thing, but like mutualistic relationship. with
Yeah,
the
of
two
course.
Different teams. So, now that we're here, right? How have you taken your use of the opportunities that are available here? Obviously, you did the workshop, as you said, but like, at least like for me, I'm grateful that we're even here because our team, like, we came here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is our first time since then coming back. And
Nice.
I feel like as a junior, you're also a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a junior, like, we have college apps coming up pretty soon.
Right.
I feel like I don't know if I'll be back, so I'm grateful for the fact that I'm even here.
Mhm.
How have you taken use of those opportunities?
Yeah, definitely in terms of college admissions, going to like the innovation fair and talking to all those colleges. Just even if you weren't really considering them beforehand, just being able to talk to someone about college, learn from someone who knows about that college experience is just a great resource. And everyone here just like wants to help and is here for the students and to help out the students. So definitely talking to colleges, also just exploring like what the companies have to offer.
Right.
They have a lot of good handouts, like giveaways and stuff, but also just seeing their VR stuff and their just amazing robots. It's sort of like something you would see like out of a movie, but they really make it in real life.
Especially the NASA stuff, like whatever
Yeah.
contraption they had. It
Yeah.
was like they brought a rover like into the
Right?
into the first championship.
Exactly. And also just talking to other teams. I mean, these are the teams that are the best in the world. Everyone made it here for a reason.
Yeah.
And just talking to people, whether that's looking at their robots in their pit, whether that's designing your pit based on what other people have, taking pictures, asking questions. That's something that we've really stressed in our team this year. Just, this is like, once, you're not going to have this chance later on, maybe. So don't leave with any regrets. Yeah.
Yeah. I completely agree with everything you
Yeah.
said there. For our Empire presentation, I had a similar thought process because, like when we were preparing for Worlds, like I didn't want to feel that regret later on that we didn't try our best. And
Yeah.
we had a presentation yesterday, and I feel like
Okay,
we
wow.
did try our best. So at that point, like, it's very competitive to even win the Hall of Fame award.
Right.
So like, worst case if we don't, at least we put our best effort out there, and I think we did the best we could. So
Yeah,
at that
we-
point, I'm not really disappointed with anything.
Yeah, we won Impact last year at the regional level, and we presented last year. It's a little intimidating, and we didn't win, but I think we just put our best foot forward, and that's all you can really ask for.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I get the idea that you're a very like impact oriented person, right?
Mhm.
At least for me, like, I feel like I'm a little bit in the middle between like the
Yeah.
robot and admin type of stuff. How do you find yourself trying to learn those skills when you have so much going on in admin related things?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I started out really in FTC like my freshman year, and I was the coach, like the drive coach. So I think that was just a good experience of being a part of the drive team. Also at our South Florida competition, South Florida Regional, I was the human player for that because one of our students couldn't make it, so I sort of had to sub in. So really just, and of course because we're such a close-knit team and having like those strong bonds, I mean, I'm in the same classes with the same mechanical kids.
Right.
I'm talking with them, I'm in the lab with them all the time, so just looking at the robot, being a part of their design discussions, even if I'm not the one who's leading those, just sitting in, pitching in an idea once in a while. And I mean, our team we just want to make sure that we're getting all of the ideas down on paper so we can make the best
Make them
decision
happen.
possible. And including everyone who wants to have a shot at any department and anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess like sometimes shadowing is like the best way to learn those different types of skills.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so one more thing. the fact that, being at Worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different, it feels like there's too many opportunities out there. Like, you have to take advantage of every single one, right?
Yeah.
I guess, like, this is more a general question, but, like, how do you prioritize what you want for yourself versus what your team needs, in essence?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm always a team first kind of person.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, what I've been doing for people is, like, making a scouting schedule, making sure everyone has, like, tasks. If you're not on their scouting shift, maybe giving them, like, specific questions to go ask this team how their elevator works. Go ask what code they use. Figuring out stuff like that and making the team and everyone's schedule work. But also giving them, built into that schedule, time to explore.
Right, yeah.
Right? We have, like, a break time, and we're like, guys, go to the innovation fair. Go talk to other teams. Go just, even if you need to take a break for a little bit. But really just putting the team first, because the team has to succeed for all the students to succeed. I mean, we're stronger together. That's something that's true, not just in FIRST, but in everything.
Right.
And then as for me, just making sure that everyone on the team is doing what they're supposed to and being a leader in that role. And then, of course, taking time for myself to explore and do stuff like this podcast and finding ways to help our team. And really what my goals are, I think, are what reflects in the team.
Right, yeah.
Because everything I'm doing is, yes, promoting myself, but also helping to promote the team. So, yeah.
Right. I agree with you there. I think, like, for me, it's more like, of course, the team is at the front, right? Like, this podcast is not a thing that I did. It's for our entire team, right? Like, I want an entire team to learn all these skills, right? But, like, for me, I see it as, like, what skills can I learn? What can prepare me for the future? It's not even, like, I don't think it's, like, a selfish thing. It's just more like, we want to see how we can prepare ourselves for the future because, within 2 years we'll be, unfortunately, we won't be able to compete in FIRST events anymore.
Mm-hmm.
First, of course, we'll be FIRST alumni, but, like, there's a new stage of life that's after that, and
Right.
I want to be as prepared as possible for that, but also, ensuring that I had an impact on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that emotion and that feeling when, you feel like you impacted someone's life, not
Yeah,
even
of course.
just, like, outreach stuff, but, like, even people that you know closely, I
Mhm.
feel like that makes it so much more, like, emotionally invested,
Yeah, and you just want to leave a legacy and leave the team better than you found it, which I think is a goal that we can all aspire to do.
And it's very similar to, like, sports as well. Like, of course, people outside the field can be talking about, well, this guy has, like, the best stats and everything, he's
Yeah.
going to have a huge impact on the game. But, like, at that point, they have to actually make the impact on the game to actually, have those people talking about it, right? Like,
Right.
I'm not a basketball guy, but, like, I'm assuming that, LeBron and Michael Jordan had this huge impact, not only because, and Kobe especially.
Yeah.
I remember when, unfortunately, Kobe died, a lot of people were talking about, how he impacted the game so much, and he was just, like, a good person at heart.
Yeah.
Like, apart from all his stats on the field, right? Like, it's important to make sure that, you're a strong person, like, mentally, because then people will take inspiration from you, not even just from your game, but, like, from the person that you are, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like in all situations, like, when you compare people with stats, being a good person at heart really separates one person from the rest.
Absolutely, yeah. And FIRST is just such a good opportunity for that. It's a good opportunity to become a leader, just in this team setting, really understanding how teams function, understanding other people's perspectives, learning to look at issues from different points of view. That's something that is really, like, a lifelong skill.
Yeah, I think looking at issues is really important as well because, like, as with any team, conflicts are going to arise. Like, nobody can deny that, right?
Yeah.
It's about, like, how you work around it and how you're actually able to solve it, right? And I think, like, I was talking to a few colleges yesterday, and I feel like they're looking for those people that are willing to, look past each other's differences and, take people for who they are, but also ensure that you're succeeding as a team as a whole. Which I think is why, like, so many colleges come to FIRST events in particular, because they want to have those opportunities, to see these students being able to handle that maturely, right?
Yeah.
I think maturity is, like, a huge thing that we need in today's life.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
All right, well, it was nice talking to you, and
Yeah, I
feel like
appreciate
I
it.
wish I could talk to you more, but if you want to talk afterward, leave in. I'm available
For sure.
if you want to.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay, and now I'm here with.
I'm Alexandria Horn. I'm from Team 34, the Rockets. I am the Team Spirit Captain. I'm also part of the Build and Design sub-teams, and I'm also part of the Impact sub-team, and I am also a member of Students First.
I'm Chloe, also with Team 34, the Rockets. I am captain of the Multimedia and Impact sub-teams, and I am the marketing lead for the Students First organization.
Got it. So you mentioned something about the FIRST organization, or what was the first thing you said? Students First,
Students
right?
First.
Talk a little bit more about that.
So Students First is an organization that basically promotes student-led teams, and we believe that it's unfair that teams are mentor-led, meaning that like the robot and like everything that goes in the robot was mainly like built and made by like mentors and like industry people. We believe that is unfair to other teams, and also not even just on the playing field, but outside the playing field, with how students are taught, with how the experience that students are giving as a total within FIRST.
Got it. So, are there any struggles that you've had like as a team individually? I'm sure like when you created that program, there's probably some backstory to it, right?
So we actually did not create the program. It was created by a girl named Robin in Washington. But after joining and speaking at Champs last year, we've had teams laugh at the idea of student leadership and of pushing this student organization. We've had teams tell us no. We've had teams get very smart with us while we're just trying to spread an organization that we feel strongly for and that FIRST should be pushing as a whole. We've also had a lot of backlash from FIRST saying that we want to get rid of mentors, but that's totally not the case or the purpose of our organization.
You have backlash from FIRST themselves? What did they say?
They wrote something on their blog. They deleted it very quickly. I didn't personally get to read it, but...
No. Well, I mean, if they deleted it, then I guess that shows the strength of your program in itself, right? So you guys were talking a little bit about like sub-teams, right?
Yes.
So I know that like, since there's so many different fields that you have to make within robotics, right? Mentors generally have to like lead different sub-teams. Talk about a little bit about like, how the dynamic has been between, students and mentors within those sub-teams on your team itself.
So with our team, of course, we have mentors for each sub-team. And although the mentors don't, do all the work, we have the students do most of the work. They are still there to be like a guidance for students. They are there to answer any questions. They're always going to be in the room. Like if a student ever needs help with something, the mentors are always going to be there to basically answer just any questions they have and just basically just guide them like in total.
So the structure of our team is we have mentors for each sub-team, and then we also have a captain for each sub-team. So on Saturday mornings, we meet with those captains. All the captains meet together with the mentors, and we tell the mentors what our strategy is for the week and what our goals are for the week, and they can give us helpful information, criticism, and stuff like that, but we're the ones that ultimately make the schedule and the plan for our team.
Okay. And I know like that's like a lot to handle, right? So has it been like, not necessarily like stressful, but like, is there like a lot of work that has to go into that? And like, how do you help manage, what to do at once and how you prioritize the tasks?
It is a lot of work. I was a sub-team captain my very first year on the team, but it's worth it because the more work that you put into your team, the more benefits that you are going to get out of it. And so we have 3 main sub-team leaders, and we are all very, very successful, not only in FIRST, but in other organizations, because we've learned how to manage those difficult tasks as students without having to have a teacher's help.
Okay. I think that's important to consider as well, because like, we're high schoolers, right? When we go on to, college, we're not going to have the mentorship that exists within the team, right? So I guess like for you guys, what would be like an ideal scenario for like, after graduating high school? Like what type of experience do you want to have leading into college, and what do you think then you could gain more out of FIRST in the time that you have left?
So we have many students that of course go to college after graduating from our team, but we also have a lot of students in our robotics team that go straight into the workforce without going to college at all, like that go into like engineering forces that do immediate like internships. We even have students that end up at Lockheed Martin after graduating high school. FIRST just offers a lot of opportunities, especially with our team. We make sure a lot of our students on the team even end up getting like big scholarships just from the involvement of FIRST. It's not, there's just so many opportunities that are given like for the students.
And like going with those opportunities, right? Like, do you obtain that through connections, or is it like how do you actually provide those opportunities to your students? I know like FIRST, has a lot of like experiences here, but like on your team itself, like what provides that connection?
So we have a very strong connection with Lockheed Martin in Huntsville, and we actually have a pipeline set up where any of our seniors can apply for a Lockheed Martin internship, and they automatically get an interview. It's not promised that they will actually get the internship, but any student from our team that applies will get an interview.
Are they one of your sponsors?
Yes.
Okay, makes sense then. So going with sponsors, I guess, right? Like, how do you ensure that, of course you have these opportunities that like Lockheed Martin is providing, right? But like, let's say a student doesn't want to go down that path, right? How do you try and like counsel them and like provide them an opportunity to pursue something that is maybe bigger than just getting that internship opportunity firsthand?
So I personally am not going into any engineering field, but we've been working a lot with First in Alabama operations team, and through that we meet teachers throughout the state, we meet school board leaders, we have advocated to all of the state councilmen and the state senators, and it gets me the experience that I need to work in the school administration and education department. And we try to, if there's a student and they want to learn something, we're never going to tell them no, they cannot learn it, or no, they cannot meet these people. We work really hard to provide connections through our mentors having different backgrounds. We don't have just engineering mentors, lots of other mentors.
So I guess like going with that, have you had the experience where a student that was there on your team like a year ago now becomes a mentor, like within like back-to-back years? How do you deal with that situation? Because I know it's like weird to like see someone as your friend and then suddenly they become your mentor.
So something that our team does is that if a student graduates and they want to become a mentor on the team, they would have to wait for the cycle of students to, that they like know of when they were on the team to basically cycle out and graduate. That way, when they become a mentor on the team, then the students won't know them, so then they will be able to be not seen as an equal to them, but as more of like an authority figure that is, fully an adult that can like help them instead of like
your friend.
Yeah, instead of your friend, exactly.
We normally have to wait until we're 21 to come back as mentors.
Okay, that's a good like timeline then. I guess I never considered like that as an opportunity. Have you seen that been successful, like with the people that are just joining your team and how they see that authority figure?
Definitely.
Yes.
Travis is one of our newer mentors, and he also was the first of our team to go straight to work with Lockheed Martin through that internship program. He graduated the year before I joined the team, and we kind of had knew of him and seen him at a few events, but then him coming back as a mentor, we have a different level of respect for him because he was recently in our shoes, but not so much that he is able to just take over and be on the team for more than 4 years, essentially.
Right. That's true. I guess like if you just graduate and you kind of miss the opportunity, then it's kind of hard to like draw that line. You're a mentor now, not a student, right? So I think like the age of 21 probably makes the most sense. I guess like going with that, since you guys have mentors involved in your team, how do you ensure that the students themselves are bonding together well and are able to motivate each other to ensure that it's like truly a student-led experience? Like I know you talked about the students in first thing earlier, but like how do you build that type of like culture within your team?
So something that we do is every captain of the team gets to basically assign roles, like assignments, every single day during our meetings. That it's always the student's job, and the mentors, of course, can give their own advice and give their own guidance, but it's always going to be the captains and just basically the entire team of students as a whole on, hey, what decisions are we going to make? What are we going to do today? How are we going to spend our time today? Like, are we going to spend it wisely? Are we going to spend it doing this? Are we going to spend it doing that? It's all up to the students. The students make decisions, and we all do our part in putting our hands into the robot, putting our hands into programming. Every single sub team that counts. We all work the same way, and it kind of just all meshes together at the end as well.
And a lot of that is the job of the mentors to allow us to do that. Our mentors are very lenient. They will let us fail if that is something that we need to do. If we're doing something wrong and we're very adamant about to keep doing it, they're like, okay, you're going to learn the hard way that this isn't going to work. But that's how we truly learn. We run all of our decisions, or the majority of them, by our mentors, but they never tell us no. They never tell us, no, that's completely wrong. You're going to do this, this, this. They might say like, okay, I think there's another way to do that. Do you know what that other way could be? And they introduce us to those questions to problem solve. If there is a problem, they don't solve the problem for us.
That's true. I think it's important to like make that boundary as well, because like of course mentors deserve like the utmost respect.
Yes.
But like at least like for me, I've definitely experienced my share of situations where it's better to just learn it the hard way, as you said, because that's when you learn the most as an individual. And like especially as a high schooler, I think you need to go through those hard experiences to actually prepare yourself for future life endeavors, right?
And it can help students for the workforce as well, because when a lot of students go into the workforce, they're not going to always have someone like basically like holding their hand, like helping them all throughout the way, because every workforce is different. You don't like, they're not like everyone is like, there's not always going to be like a boss that's going to like hey, we're gonna like do all this for you. No, like there's gonna be like when students go into the workforce, their job is they either do their job right or they do their job wrong.
And they'll only be trained for a certain period of time. When you get a job, they won't train you all year.
Yeah.
You'll be trained for a week, a month, and then you have to go and do that yourself. And when you mess up, your boss will tell you why you messed up. But in order to gain back your respect in your workplace, you will have to fix that mistake yourself.
And with that, we try to make our team work a very similar way. Of course, our boss, which would be the mentors, they, if we do something wrong, they're going to tell us what we're going to do wrong, and they would give us advice. But we are basically have the responsibility of pretty much pursuing if we're going to do how are we going to do this, and basically just learn from the experience as a whole.
That's true. I think I'm going to steal this quote from one of the NASA employees that was at the innovation fair the other day, but I was talking to him and he was telling me that all these experiences and technologies that exist, right? They update every few years because if you got your college degree 30 years ago, obviously the technology has changed since then, right? So she was saying that it's important to learn how to learn, and then from there you'll be able to actually adapt to the situation, right? Which is kind of like what you guys were talking about. So I think that's very important as well. You have to be able to adapt to the situation and just know your boundaries, but also know what's available for you, right? So I noticed that you guys are Team 34, right? So you must be a very old team.
Yes.
When were you guys founded?
We were founded in 1996. We were the first team in Alabama.
Nice. So I feel like this may be a long shot, but are there any mentors that have stayed since the very beginning?
Not quite. We do have some mentors that have been there for upwards of 25, 29 years. Not 29, but upwards of 25. But we do kind of appreciate the new mentors. In the beginnings of our team, we were a very successful team because we had mentors building our robot. We had mentors programming our robot. They would take the robot home, build it, come back to our facility, and teach the kids what they did. Show them what they did and show them what to tell the judges that they did.
Which is not the same as...
Which is not right. And I think going through that process is why our team is the way that we are, because the difference between students who were coming out of the team at that time, the team was successful. The team was going to Worlds every year. The team was getting banners, but the students were not learning what they should have been learning. So it's okay to not be as successful of a team and produce more successful students.
That's true. But very well said. And I feel like also, whenever students learn those skills, right, you don't really see the output of it until many years later, after they've already gone to a job and done that type of stuff. I feel like, I don't know, maybe first should have an award based on that, maybe a student who comes back after 10 years sees what they did and they get an award for that.
Like an alumni award.
Yeah,
Kind of,
that's cool. 'Cause I feel like that's the true test of whether your time in robotics actually helped you. And I think it's not of course a line selection just happened, right? So we don't know how many of those teams actually have the students doing the work, as you guys were saying. But it'd be nice to have that type of alumni award. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's nice talking to you guys, and I feel like I learned a lot from your conversation, and I hope that you'll have more students involved in your processes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day at competition.